Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 313. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Mondays with Mello, and today we're delving into fake energy. Yeah. This is important because a lot of us are striving for something bigger and better in our lives, and whether that's to climb up the corporate ladder or it's to really get out of corporate America and focus on what we want, we deal with a lot of fake energy. I'm quite sure you have someone in your life, or you have people who have fake energy with you. And I'm going to share a few of my experiences, and then I'll ask you some important questions. Now, when it comes to this, fake energy, it's funny when you accomplish something big and it's a big deal, but then it's not, because you have more to do, you have more to push toward, you have something rolled up your sleeve that you plan on doing for yourself. And it's why I don't really share a lot of things on social media, because my personal life really isn't for public consumption, but that's besides the point. Now, I always had a goal of being on a billboard, whether it's just a regular billboard or it's a digital one, whatever it is. I just wanted that to be something that I accomplished in my life. And I did accomplish that a few weeks ago. And the amount of people who just came out of the woodworks, it was just astronomical. And I just found it funny how people will sit and watch your journey and watch every single thing that you do, right? Just think of how much you've done on your journey and how many people have actually supported you. Gone out of their way to say, hey, support my friend or my family member. They repost your content, or they ask you questions about what you're doing in your journey and the reason why, or whatever, makes the situation, worth it and worthwhile for you, right? So for me, it was very interesting and ironic how everyone was like, oh, well, congratulations, and oh my goodness, and how did this all happen? And in my head, I'm just like, I worked my butt off to get to this point. What do you think? Things just miraculously happen? A lot of times it takes connections and takes the right investments and things of that nature, right? And that's how it worked out for me. But after a while, it got annoying with all the comments. And for me, I just didn't expect all of these comments to come flooding in. And on Instagram, you have the opportunity to turn off the comments. And I wish I did that from the get-go. And that, to me, with a lot of people, it was fake energy to me. Because if you really want to support someone in what they're doing, repost the content that I'm posting. I'm posting poems and books that I've written and my journey as a writer and as an author. So just think to yourself, this year alone, I'm not even going to say within a certain time frame. Just think of this year, for a second, just visualize you accomplishing a big goal of yours this year, because I know you have accomplished something big this year, right? Now, the question I'm going to ask you is, did you post it on social media? And if you did, think about how many people came with their fake energy all of a sudden and said, oh, congratulations, and oh my goodness, and I'm so proud of you, and all of this. Meanwhile, they haven't invested not 1 second of time into what you are literally doing with your life. Right? And then the other aspect of it is people make it bigger than what it has to be. It's like, oh, you're big time. And I'm like, no, I'm not big time. I'm just doing God's work. That's what you guys have. Like, that's, I'm saying this to people in general, like, not to you not to you who's listening right now. This is not my work. This is God's work that I'm doing. So don't make it bigger than what it really has to be. And then to make it worse, it was like, tell my mom and tell mom, and then they went and like shared it with a bunch of people. And I'm just like, I really don't care about what they think or feel. And it's because it's like, you're not reading my content. It's not like you're listening to my podcast. It's not like, you're reposting anything, or it's not like you're telling people, by word of mouth, like I write or I read or, I record audiobooks or I have a clothing line or anything like that. Right. So that's just something that bothers me. It goes on a lot in Black culture, where it's just like this fake energy of like, oh, like I see you, bro, like all of that stupid clownery, to put it in nicer terms, because I try not to curse on my podcast. So I just need you to understand that there's going to be just a lot of fake energy, and you've got to kind of push that to the side. And the one person I want to thank is Gary Vaynerchuk. He is huge, like, as far as not letting all of the good get to your head, and even the bad get to your head. It's like staying in the middle, staying focused on what you have to do, and continuing to challenge yourself and push yourself to be the best version of yourself and be great at what you're doing. So I don't let too much of all these positive words like really get to me, to be honest. It's just like, okay, like, thanks, or okay, I appreciate it. Like, and after a while, when you keep saying thanks, I appreciate it, it's just like, yeah, I don't want to type that anymore. I don't even want to give you a thumbs up. I don't want to do any emojis, like none of that, like at all. There are a few people that did leave comments that I was like, okay, like they're cool. But then like the rest, I was just like, really? Like, this is what you're doing? Like, you're coming on here to like, it's just like, yeah, okay, just like it and keep scrolling. Like, that's just how I feel about stuff a lot of times. So I'm learning that when I do something or I want to post something and I don't want to deal with comments, I just turn the comments off on Instagram. I'm getting better at it, I promise you. So I want to thank Gary Vaynerchuk for really breaking down like the fake energy and how people, will kind of come out of the woodworks or come out of nowhere. Meanwhile, they haven't called you, text you, reached out to you to see how you're doing or whatever. And I don't do it either. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a person who reaches out to everyone that's, somewhat associated with me, whether it's family, friends, coworkers, acquaintances. I'm just not that guy, because I have work to do and I have things to focus on and things to accomplish. And I'm quite sure you do too. So at the end of the day, I just need you to just not be too focused on the fake energy, because the work will speak for itself. The results will speak for itself. And what can people really say when you're at the end, or you're at the top of that mountain looking over everyone and saying, hey, I did it. I climbed this mountain. I got through a couple of hurdles. I did stumble, but I made it, and I am where I want to be. So don't let, fake energy, whoever it is, it doesn't even matter if it's like your closest family members, any of your closest friends or anything like that. Don't even let it bother you, because there are just too many people in the world who want to know your story, who want to share your story, who want to know about you and where you come from and, how you got to where you are. And that's a beautiful thing. And it's partly why I joined certain communities, to where I can get to know people and people can get to know me, and I can continually be inspired by other people's stories to write the stories that I write. So, fake energy is going to come at you from all different avenues. And I think the one thing that I worry about on my end is when, some of my books, start to get that attention in the beginning of all the notoriety a little bit. And then all of my books take off, and then everyone's like, oh, I remember him, or oh, I know him, or oh, I went to school with him, or oh, I know him. Like, I don't want to deal with that. And it's because I'm an introvert, and I'm very much to myself, and I don't like drawing attention to myself. And don't worry, I'm really going to break down being an introvert in a few weeks. I will really delve into what it's like being an introvert and going through the motions a lot in certain instances and situations. But anyway, be mindful of the fake energy. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your gut. Feed people from a long spoon, and keep pushing for greatness. So with that said, that's my podcast for today. I thank you guys for listening. As always, have a good week. Stay tuned for Wednesday Motivation Inspiration. Be good and go and accomplish your goals.